Really decide what you're trying to communicate, what you're trying to get across, and taking the time to work that out and basing your brand design on those things rather than just pretty pictures. So the 3 mistakes to avoid when it comes to your branding. First of all, diving straight into visual research. So by this, I mean just jumping straight on Pinterest or Instagram or flicking through magazines, looking at visual inspiration, creating a mood board and basing your branding off that. Instead, what you should be doing is creating a strategy behind it. Really decide what you're trying to communicate, what you're trying to get across, and taking the time to work that out and basing your brand design on those things rather than just pretty pictures. We want our branding to be liked. We want it to be popular, appealing, and modern. But following trends for trend's sake is not an effective way to brand. It'll very quickly go out of style and you'll constantly be having to change things up. And again, there's no strategy behind it. You're not using those trends with intention. There's nothing wrong with using the trends if you're intentionally using them for a reason that ties back in with what you're trying to communicate. But if you're just using them just for the fun of it because they're pretty and in right now and you think they're going to appeal to people, then you're using the trends for the wrong reason. It's not really helping your brand because it's not really communicating your message or trying to connect with your audience. It's just about looking good right now. It's so important that your brand is much deeper than just looking trendy. And finally, choosing a design direction for the wrong reasons. And this could be maybe just, following trends like before. It could be using just things that you like or that you are personally into, or imitating styles that you've come across and you think just look gorgeous, or what your industry is doing right now. While it's important to consider your own identity and weaving some of that into your brand, and while it's also important to look at what else is going on in your industry, what you really want to be doing is carving out your own brand identity and for it to go beyond just what you like and what appeals to you. You need to be not only considering your own personality, but also who your audience is and what they want out of your business and the feelings you want to evoke and the message and purpose behind your business. When you start to piece together all these elements, you'll have a much richer brand because there's much more meaning behind it. And you're really taking your audience into consideration, what's actually going to appeal to them and how are you creating your brand for them rather than it just being all about you. So what things do you actually need to consider to get clarity around your branding? First of all, you need to know your why. Why are you doing what you do? Why does it matter? What is that bigger picture? It's easy when it comes to business to lose sight of that why. And by digging deep and going back to it and really getting clear on why you're doing what you're doing and why it matters, then it's going to be easier to create a strong brand identity, because then you're creating a brand that's much deeper and it's really going to resonate with people. And that takes us to our next point, which is your brand story. So you want to be taking people along a journey. So this could include your own personal story about why you're doing what you do, but more importantly, the journey of your customer. How are you helping them? Where are they right now before they find you? What are they struggling with? What are they going through? What are they thinking about? What do they want? And then how finding your brand, how are you then able to help them? What are you doing for them? What difference are you able to make in their life? And this doesn't have to be a big transformational thing either. If you, for example, just sold candles, the story can be about how maybe they come home from work and they turn on all the lights and it's just these bright fluorescent lights and they're tired from work and they just want to relax and unwind. And they want something that's going to create a nice atmosphere and make them feel good in the evenings. And so you're selling them these candles that's going to create this beautiful vibe and feeling when they come home. They can just light the candle, they can just relax, calm down. And then maybe too, your candles use sustainable materials. Maybe you're using recycled glass or something like that. And then they feel really great about the whole experience, because not only does it make them feel really good, but they also feel good about the fact that they're buying something that's a sustainable product. And so you're really creating that story. What's that story behind it? What is that journey you're taking someone on and how do they feel? And then your mission and purpose. So this is closely linked to your why. So what exactly is the mission of your brand? What kind of change are you trying to create in the world or for your customers? So it could be that you're trying to empower women, or it could be that you're trying to create awareness around an issue, or maybe you're trying to change things up in your industry and try and break industry norms. Think about what that mission is. What are you trying to get people to do? Or what kind of change are you trying to create? And it doesn't have to be solving big world problems Little things can make big differences. But thinking about your mission and purpose is going to create more depth to your branding. Next, who do you serve? It's so important to really get to know your audience. You don't want to be aiming at everyone. You want to get really specific, get to know them, and then because you get to know them, you know how to appeal to them, how to create a brand design that attracts them and creates that feeling of this is exactly what I've been looking for. You want them to be thinking things like, this is so me. You really want to get specific and try and really hone in on making sure that your branding is appealing to that person. And then what you offer them. So you don't want to be like Walmart or Kmart where you're just selling heaps of different things that change up all the time. As a small creative business, you want to get quite specific and niche down and really get clear about what it is you're offering. How are you helping people? What are you selling to them? You want to become known for something. Next, how do you want to help? So whether you sell products or whether you sell services, you're helping people in some way. There's some kind of struggle or something in their life that they want better that you're helping them with. So how do you want to be helping them? It could be a big struggle like losing weight or making more money, or it could be just something more simple like making them feel good about themselves or helping them connect with their friends, or even with those nice to have products like artwork. It could be just that, you know, the walls in their house are really blank and they want something to brighten it up, or maybe they want to treat themselves and get something that makes them feel special. Keep in mind that people don't buy products, they buy better versions of themselves, and this could be related to things like status, identity, beauty, wealth, happiness, or health. Next, the message you want to communicate. So what do you want to be getting across? What do you want to actually be saying to people through your branding? And how do you want to be making them feel? So using things to like color psychology and fonts that are going to position your brand. What is the overall communication that you're trying to get across? This is where a lot of the earlier things I discussed all start to come into play all together. What's that overall communication and message? And it's so important that you get clear on that, because then you can make sure that you're communicating it through your branding. Because branding isn't just about looking pretty. Branding is visual communication. And so you need to know what you're trying to communicate and who you're trying to communicate to. We're not just speaking to a blank wall and just spurting out anything or just trying to look pretty and cool. We really want to make sure that we're communicating about our brand. And then finally, how do you want to make people feel? At every single touch point in your business, right from when they stumble upon you to when they buy something from you, when it arrives in the mail, as they follow your content, as they get emails from you, all the way through at any touch point as they continue to follow you and become fans and share your things with others. At all these different points, how are you wanting to make them feel? And by considering this, you're always going to make sure that your branding is creating that feeling. So I hope you enjoyed these tips. And if you want to dig deeper on these things, I have a free branding course that you can find down in the description below, which takes you through defining your brand style and some of the questions you should be asking yourself to lay those strong foundations. And if you want to learn more about graphic design, branding, and creativity, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.